Hey buddies, what's up? Welcome back to another amazing episode of Mind Splatter. So guys, in today's video, we're going to discuss the 5 best Minecraft shaders you definitely shouldn't miss in 2022. Are you guys excited? Let's get started. So keep up with me till the end, comment right below this video, subscribe if you still haven't, and turn on the post notification for more videos. Minecraft has one of the most iconic visual designs in all of gaming. However, given that the game is more than a decade old and much older than even that, if one considers the beta and alpha versions, players have had time to put thousands of hours into the game, and in that much time, the generic look can get a little bit bland, and players might want to change things up. There are resource packs that can change the texture of the blocks, but more versatile are the game's shaders. These are community-made graphical changes that can enhance the game's vanilla look and completely overhaul the game's graphics to take the visuals to another level entirely. For the sake of easy comparison between the shaders, roughly the same landscape will be shown using each shader. 5 best shaders that Minecraft players should try out. Number 1. Zeus. Zeus is short for Sonic Ether's Unbelievable Shaders, one of the longest-lived shaders the game has ever seen. It's a classic example of shaders that manage to balance perfectly on the tightrope of how the game feels with how it looks. While some shaders look great, they can stop the game feeling like Minecraft. Zeus looks great and retains the game's vibe. It's also a base for many other shaders, making it vital to shaders as the community knows them. The only potential downside to this shader is that the bright blocks are very bright and can be a bit hard to look at. This becomes more jarring when there are a lot of them, especially when combined with the extra vibrancy added to the game's colors by this shader. Number 2. Silder's Vibrant Shaders. This shader goes hand in hand with Zeus, as it is another old shader that is well known in the community. This age comes with some boons, however, as the shader is regularly updated by a committed team. There are also versions of the shader made for machines with less than stellar hardware. The visuals of the water in this shader are quite unique, as they make the water almost entirely opaque. Most shaders tend to make the water quite transparent in order to demonstrate their ability to render refractions and reflections. However, this shader relies on its ability to render beautiful waves and surface reflections to sell its realism. Number 3. Lagless Shaders. One of the best shaders for players on middling and aging systems is the Lagless shader, though there is no shortage of shaders for lower-end systems. This shader is relatively simple, but increases the vibrancy of the game's colors and visual fidelity of the textures. The idea of this shader is to improve the look of the game rather than change the entire look of the game, and it succeeds at this incredibly so. The only potential downside for this shader when compared to some others is that the game seems much darker than it normally does. Number 4. Lagless Cell Shaders. One of the most unique shaders available in this game's community, this shader adds cell shading for the entire game in a style made famous by games such as Borderlands, yet reminiscent of classic comics and cartoons. However, this shader is not very optimized and will take a heavy toll on the impact of the game's performance for any players on systems without the beefiest components. Number 5. Nostalgia Shader. This shader is a callback to the origin of shaders as a whole. The idea is to mimic the look shaders had nearly a decade ago, when shaders were their own type of mod and not yet added to things like Optifine. This means the colors, lighting, and shadows are softer than most modern shaders, which really emphasizes stark contrasts and sharp images. This softer design also makes the shader easier on the eyes. While this shader will, by definition, only appeal to players who experience the early shaders, there's nothing quite like it for players wanting to experience the origins of the game. So guys, that's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos.